Don't crash.
Yeah, well, Bottas nearly crashed into the back of the car.
He just wouldn't give up on it, just a little touch on the grass. And with the front
To the extent he couldn't bang his fist on the Sainz in his battle with Fernando Alonso. Well, Sainz
behind Magnussen. Oh, he's round. He's lost it. One in, hits the loud pedal, and he drops it on the way.
He's lost it way into the corner. The tyre's damaged.
With all of the drivers' identification, so it's very clear. Surround sound Formula One. We got the Roy on the racetrack over there, underneath the flood on the curb here. And now he lost it in the apex. He didn't even get as far as getting too high on the curb. And takes a...
Geweest. Dan Pierre Gasly, bam, ook daar de touché.
And it was Hartley got into the side of Perez.
Yeah, but this is the incident that you can see in front. Hartley and Perez going wheel to wheel. Fernando Alonso's going to watch out. Alonso rather squeezed them up a bit. That's where
And he's slack. I don't really know where Lewis could have...
Then you get a crosswind into a tailwind there. His F2 debut.
Way in.
Was he just warming? He was warming up for a lap. He was warming up for a lap on the old
procedures in place to try and get them out of this hole.
Lewis Hamilton then, fastest man on the circuit so far this morning here in Shanghai. Quickly as you can.
The rear just stepped out at the wrong moment. That could have been a big one. You see the speed of the snap there. He thought he kept his foot down a bit too much on the AstroTurf. He picked up a bit of mid-corner understeer in turn 10. That put the car, but the problem was he tried to keep a little bit too much momentum.
The car is a T-Rex. And
leave him on the way out. And
Verstappen on the inside of Vettel, they have touched!
Max.
That was inevitable!
No, I don't think it was a...
I don't think I need to say anything here.
No, I'm afraid you've got to give that... Well, Willie.
Well, they're very nearly, they touch again, Verstappen. Gasly gets very, very close, and Hartley...
His copybook, that's 100% his fault. Well, Pierre, the door's got to be open before you can close it. No, that's not an overtaking move. That's was expected to be the Wonder Boy, wasn't he? But he's had a difficult...
Did exactly the same thing.
Something that's very unstable at the back of that car.
Now. Did he get a bit beached on the curb?
And that both shut down first, and then there were the telltale flames, and lost the rear on the way in.
And he has done.
It was a bigger hit, going the opposite way to the corner.
There's the two Williams, Sorokin and Stroll side, and this is where solely to Kimi Räikkönen then.
Yeah, have a look at done that already.
Otmar, thank you. Ocon.
I think Räikkönen deserves a bit more space than that, to be honest, looking at back at race control, but yeah, I think they'll see that as a racing incident.
Seen a gap there, but
wing damage, that's why he's had to come in. Whoa, that was so...
That Gasly, no wonder. And that could have been...
I should have got out of it.
Yeah. All weekend, haven't we? You know, at the split stunt.
He held on to the wheel as well.
Ooh.
Oh, he's just locked the rears on the way in.
Here?
Oh, he was brave to go in there. Listen, wheel to wheel, what you want to see, but
he's going to try and dive down. The inside, they have crashed. They've gone into each other. And Daniel Ricciardo.
Bottas has won the Grand Prix.
The pits.
He was too committed, wasn't he, Danny?
Through Bottas and Lewis Hamilton as we watch these Give us your verdict. Here, Paul.
Oh, he's just dropped it himself.
Do this behind the safety car before, but
What happened? The entry here, and so Ricciardo's been caught out by it.
Yeah, Roman Grosjean turns left.
It's just gone round. When you lose the rear, it's possible with that, it'll dig in. But it's like slow.
Much harder task at turn 9, but
it's a tailwind.
Lance Stroll, similar to Grosjean, and just couldn't stop in time. Lock up on the inside. Is 360 degrees, and Hülkenberg could do nothing to avoid him and goes off the track loop.
Overtaking you, it's like a big pendulum, and Better.
Moves out, and then suddenly there's a Haas in the way. The Williams in front of him.
Flailing around, he'll have to make a pit very quickly, but he's losing a huge amount of performance. As we see a Williams in the back. Days for the Williams team. Well, that was a very, very unusual crash. I've never seen a fun, but he was a long 1991. I've never seen a car go off on the exit of turn.
Oh, he's got on the dirt on the way into the corner. No. Up there, and yeah, just gone straight on the back, and
the red flag, of course.
Yeah, that's a big impact.
That is session end.
He's got to eradicate the mistakes. Yes.
Reason why? Oh, he's hit the wall, Paul. Going into Sandoval, and that.
Exactly. So he hit the barrier on the way in. We've seen that happen before, and there was not much.
We've seen cars
just a
hit
bit too
that
much.
barrier, but that's just taking. Oh, look how fast Sainz came up on Verstappen, and then look how is Leclerc actually going to go for it here, and oh, he can't stop, and he has gone straight on.
A big puff there. You did see his left front brake. He did actually rub the barrier, but the problem came before that. That'll be a shot you'll see in the magazines in the.
Once again, the minute it starts to go, you catch it.
Just can't save it, can you? I mean, there's no.
Sergei Sorokin.
That was a very odd one, wasn't it? Oh, it's a hard.
Two, and eventually Verstappen.
Oh, and it's a massive crash! It's Brendan Hartley, and he's got.
In turn 5. I'm a little bit surprised Brendan was out there, to be honest, but not as surprised as Lance Stroll was, clearly.
No sé lo que le ha pasado.
Oh. Look at it here, and he makes contact with Carlos Sainz. Sergio Perez.
Man, what did Sainz did? He just took me off.
And he got on the curb. He got on the curb as well, and tailwind.
Yeah.
Right at that moment, the rear lets go.
And what happens when there's a tailwind?
Oh, he loses the rear quick. They're generally the worst. That's the worst, and might explain why.
No.
Yeah, so it just unsettled the car. I suspect it was a little bit pointy as he went in.
Wow, just came off in the car. So he is carrying full speed around.
Off at a fair rate as well.
And then look at the speed of the
back. Who taps Bottas? Vettel did.
Yeah, Vettel locked up. He certainly gained a lot of meters with that. And there's contact. And at that point, the Ferrari locked up and tagged him. So braver on the brakes. We lock up and knock him out of the race. The sun was shining. And that was then Gasly.
Just ahead of him. Perez is a lock up from Raikkonen. And then.
But there was already some damage to the Force India. It was sparking away, wasn't it?
You've got Marcus Ericsson taking to the runoff area. You've got alongside him.
And that's Vettel.
It is. Behind him, they're having their own personal Williams battle at the front wing. We didn't. As the tyre blew, that might take us through to the end of the race. Ooh.
There you go. Yeah.
It wasn't grass, it was gravel. Whoa.
Yeah, that's a bizarre situation.
Gone off at turn 1. The camera's not quite.
Okay, mate. I think it was the bump. I missed the button. Yep, okay, understood.
Okay, and then no.
Touch those curbs, yeah.
On the inside tyre.
I've seen lots of drivers, yeah. So it's a similar thing to what happened to the Williams earlier on in the high side. You catch it one way.
Yeah, came back.
Error, really. You know,
It's got a red flag situation then here at Silverstone because of this. Massive failure on the front left upset. Such a sudden reaction as he put the... and then slewing over the gravel into the tyre barrier. His feet and walking away from this accident as well. He's had quite a season.
Formula One car. He's just dropped it under braking, and then you start the downshift process.
They're just coming through Maggots and Beckett's. Oh!
Limited. Dropped it on the way in.
It's a big moment for the Swede, though, Martin. I mean, isn't it?
He turned in from the white line, maybe a little bit of extra curve, but
By Valtteri Bottas. Bottas then steams through, and this is where the action really starts, as Perez did get turned round by Ericsson.
look like enough space from that ace.
Well, Kimi locked up. That didn't. Hamilton ahead.
Right, I think Raikkonen lap of the Grand Prix.
Perez locked up, and then he got tagged from behind by Marcus Ericsson, I think
Watch
it was.
these
in
two
the Sauber.
Williams coming out of here, look.
Ooh, Sainz on the outside, squeezes Grosjean, and then gets hit by him.
That could have been an airplane crash. They were very lucky there. Sainz was lucky that didn't go over.
Didn't give him enough room, did he?
What was the first sound there that they made contact? I need to see that again.
There was no room on the inside. Sky has two Formula One cars, career once again.
Is that the Ricardo spin?
Yeah, and it's a naked Formula One.
There's an aquaplane here. That he was getting on throttle there, but the one
The back end of it is very, very lucky that the gravel is baked.
Charles Leclerc. Ooh. And that was nothing to do with.
Well, I think his middle name is Lucky today. He's Sebastian Vettel.
They were all struggling there. Hulkenberg was struggling. Perez curve. And there is no runoff area there once you, for the 5th time in his career. And
I think it's a replay of Hamilton coming back across.
On Sunday, but it wasn't. But that's the
you carry on, Ted.
Yeah, he just lost the rear end, so he didn't go
There, Johnny.
Yeah, very wide as well, wasn't he? Yeah.
Curb. That's going to be a little kiss against the barrier.
Yep. On. And there was never any chance he was going to slow down. Careering across the track. Ricardo.
Around goes Raikkonen in turn 7.
Oh, and they've touched. I'll take over, Christian.
And the Mercedes just...
And the opportunity has come. Oh, and they touched. He wasn't quite far. Surely it's Vettel's corner. Well,
exactly the same thing, isn't it?
Does it hint once again? Balance the setup problem.
He did hit the back.
Silly little knocks like that can damage the car quite a lot.
As he turns in, yep, same thing happened to him yesterday, although he was able to catch it.
The count. Oh dear, and that's not going to help matters much. It's Sebastian Vettel, and there's locking up in a crash, and Fernando Alonso. Very nasty incident.
Okay.
He got hit from behind by Hulk.
Alonso, he gets a thump now, and spun around, and cleared, locked up, and boom.
Wow, into the rear of Fernando Alonso. Charles Leclerc suddenly with Charles Leclerc. He wouldn't have known what was coming. Did now. It's looking as well to see what happened with Kimi Raikkonen that made contact there.
Yeah. With Bottas, he's got too deep into the corner. That was already going on just before.
Valtteri Bottas, he has. Well, he's got onto the grass trying to get past Valtteri Bottas. Trying to get past Bottas on the wrong side of the track.
He's already done. The McLaren's on the grass.
I mean, what the hell was that Mercedes doing? Just pushed me on the ground.
Who has missed out on Q3. Just see what happened here. Oh, that's Valtteri Bottas. Little drift.
He kept off that.
can see which has been broken off, but otherwise the risk.
We're seeing quite a few replays now.
The way you're catching it, isn't it?
On the outside that ended up getting turned around, but he felt he obviously got pinched and turned.
Vettel wanted to drift over to the right.
Gave him a fit.
Hartley. Across comes Stoffel Van Dorn, across Hartley's front wing, and now he's just a passenger, really. Where is he? Moves over there and touches.
Down there.
Sorry, Martin. As the car came hurtling towards them. And really feel that he just was a complete passenger there, and see the...
He's dug in just because of where the front tires are. But that's a massive accident. That's at high speed as well.
Okay, a little bit of understeer on the curb. The car gets beached. He puts his foot down, and like we were just saying.
Sergio Perez, and he's gone into Esteban Ocon. We get a perfect view from Fernando.
The incident was caused by Perez not giving his...
Coming over the Anderson Bridge. Oh, so it's on the exit of the Anderson Bridge.
Turning and braking at the same time, and that's yeah, he's on board, look. And the camera breaks up at the same time.
So the corner becomes tight, and you can see he's lost it, and there's a McLaren very close behind him.
As there ever, I'd like to see his air miles balance because he's
going through this. I thought he found a way past. No, they've managed to crash. Fighting back, and at this point, Perez. Okay, so there was contact. Stoffel Van Dorn was the McLaren that had to take evasive action. This is Pierre. His teammate has had a spin. Here you go. Down at turn, slow away from the start as well.
Who was that spun there then?
So that's Hartley spinning down the back, going into the back. His team for next year is their reserve driver. So Charles Leclerc will...
You can see Verstappen leaves him the space, but he's overdone it. He's committed, hit the inside because he's there, and you can see he's just in there. And Verstappen.
Here on Magnussen. Oh, he's hit him.
He moved to unlocked tailwind. Oh, he's just run out of road.
And that's never going to end well.
And he's trying to get more comfortable. Oh, he's had a spin.
You okay, Nico?
Okay.
He done it in the session, just ran a little bit wide as well. And
He has to be in the car.
Just caught the grass on the entry. He's going to hit the wall.
It scrubbed off the speed.
And the gravel here's not that deep, is it?
No.
So it's probably...
Yeah, Gasly through the S's.
Oh, and there's where your sector 1 yellow flag came from.
And you can see he's just trying to get the rotation in the steering wheel and round this.
Was that the two Hasses coming together? Oh, there's Leclerc and Grosjean. Now, oh, Alonso going in a Stroll.
Don't know how much damage I have.
But not happy about that today. There's Charles Leclerc. Could have been by Romain Grosjean down there. And there's Vettel spinning.
A touch on the front axle.
Grosjean outbroke himself.
Yeah.
Down the outside of Hulkenberg, and Hulkenberg clips in front.
On board here. Not really sure what the Force India was trying to do at that point on a back marker.
That was...
What an idiot!
He's still fighting with him, but I must say it was the front face of his right.
Super soft tyres, fresher super soft tyres. It got himself caught in that midfield there and lost a bit. The spin once again, he was already spinning.
I cannot drive this. Copy.
Just had a spin, Leclerc. So I think...
And it's just dragged them in.
Now,
We said they were brave earlier in that in FP1, so this track bites.
And the man who's finished sixth will just have problems at. Yeah, you heard the crunch. Charles Leclerc would have felt the crunch, and that's why. Has he got enough? As that's turn 18.
We go then, no. So he gets on the AstroTurf, puts his foot down, and that was the mistake. And yeah.
Weekend. I'm impressed with that. It's called a compliment. You don't get very often. Fresher tyres.
Oh, that's going to understeer.
Into the pits, Martin, to change a front wing, and they'll be looking fancied with some top speed down there and move, and that is...
Situation was blocking his route out.
So Hulkenberg and Grosjean there, tangling.
Yeah, I don't, Romain Grosjean. So, yeah.
So he wouldn't have seen...
Also, as they're on low throttle angle there,